thing. So, the first question is, what is the real Australia to you, John?
The real Australia, Jesus.
Give a G-rated for the kids.
Yeah, well, you're not going to get an answer if you want a G-rated answer. I don't like that question, you know. I think there's 23 million real Australias, you know. Everyone's got their own vision of what is real Australia. My Australia is like Yarraville, you know, so...
But what would you say, I guess, other people... When foreign people, you know, imagine Australia, what do you see them imagining? What is the real Australia? And how does that compare to what you think the real Australia is?
I love a sunburnt country, you know, off the Nullarbor. I think it's a bit of a mention. But, yeah, like... I'm suburban as shit, so that's like an Australia. Oh, yeah, I've got to drop the profanity, sorry.
It's okay.
Yeah, no, well, it's just like... I think the one that most people envision is like, yeah, the very country sort of animals, but... When was the last time you saw a koala, you know? Like, when was the last time... I don't think I've ever seen a wild koala. I don't think I've ever seen probably seen the horizon a couple of times, you know, but then I think that's the Australia that everyone thinks about.
Does it look like Ayers Rock and...
Yeah. Gum trees, eucalypt. It's nice, love it. Like, it's there. It is there, but, like, it's just not an Australia that I ever come in contact with, you know?
What do Aussies do in summer?
Yeah, the beach. Sing some frothies. Love that expression. Yeah, beach frothies. Yeah, road trips. I reckon it's festivals. I'm pretty un-Australian that way. I hate festivals, but I think that's pretty good Australian experience. Wear thongs. I'm not sure really that's a summer thing, but yeah.
Yeah, that's kind of an all-year thing, isn't it?
Yeah. Gotta watch out for that jungle rot on your feet, man. Like, it gets real hot.
And what do Aussies do in winter?
Actually, yeah, probably the same. Yeah, that's not a summer thing, is it? I think footy's more of a winter thing. I think footy and more inclined to go to the pub. I think, like, I think day drinking is a summer thing. I think winter drinking, night drinking is a winter thing.
So it goes from outdoors to indoors.
Yeah, I think, but I think the constant is sick and piss. Sinking the old frothies, the old veebs.
All right.
Hitting the turps.
What are Australian stereotypes that aren't true?
Uneducated, I think. I think that's like we're always associated with the bogan, aren't we? Which is fair enough. Like the talk, I speak like a giant bogan, but I think that's usually there's a connotation that you're dumb as hell. But yeah, I don't think that's really that fair. But I think that's like common across everything, you know. But
so you don't think the average Australian is dumb as hell, or you think that they are?
No, I don't believe that they are. And I think that's like once you like the bogan sort of drawl, like, you know, the way that I mumble. I think a lot of people don't think I'm dumb as hell, but I think I'm pretty cluey. But I think there's a lot of other. What are the other stereotypes, like racist? I think that's slightly true. I think a lot of countries are, but I think Australia is as well.
What do you mean?
Well, I mean, like, it's like, oh, you know, we get a bad rap about, like, Aboriginals and stuff, and it's like, that's kind of fair, though, isn't it? You know, like, I mean, what's the average life expectancy of an Aboriginal? It's like 60, you know, like, but we put that on them, you know, for whatever reason.
And so what are Australian stereotypes that really are true?
Alcoholics, I think. I think we have a big problem with piss, which is... Yeah, I think that's highly accurate. I think we're associated with the land a bit, animals and stuff. I think a lot of Americans and stuff kind of freak out with spiders and shit, but you can't freak out with spiders here, can you? Not here to fuck spiders. Love that expression.
Yeah, I think the ones I get are like that riding a kangaroo to school, or like kind of crap, and you're like, I don't think I've ever seen a TV show where anyone's actually done that. Where did you guys pull that stereotype from?
I've ridden an emu, that'd be pretty fun. But
well, yeah, like an ostrich.
Yeah, like those are an aggressive animal though. Was he in a cassowary? As if you'd fucking ride that thing, you know.
They tear you apart like a velociraptor.
Man, I heard it ripped out someone's heart out once. So believable.
What's your favourite Aussie slang word or expression? I think you've got a lot.
Man. Dry as a dead dingo's donga is pretty funny. Flat out like a lizard drinking. That's a good one. I don't like Australian expressions so much. I like Australian words. Frothies. As again, I love dropping that. Yeah, sweet as mate. What's the one that I heard a celebrity, Angelina Jolie, says? No worries. I hear that's I didn't even realise it was Australian, but that's part of. If you don't drop that at least once an hour, you're not a true Australian, mate. True Australian.
What's your favourite place in Australia?
Yeah, don't know. I don't think I'd live anywhere else in Australia besides Melbourne. I think that it is the world's most livable city. Like that's you can see it, you know. But like maybe, but I think there are other places I'd love to go for a holiday. You know, I think Queensland is nice like that. I think I just came back from Beechworth. That was pretty amazing. The country life out there, that's nice. But yeah, so it depends. I guess it's like how long you got. You know, you got a week, or you looking to somewhere to live. You know, yeah. I think if you're looking to holiday, I think there's heaps of spots, but there's nowhere else. You'd rather live, surely. Lawn was nice. You ever been on Lawn?
Love it,
man. That's yeah, that's probably up there.
So where's somewhere you wouldn't want to go in Australia? And why?
My mum's side of the family is from Mackay, and that it's beautiful. Like it's lovely, and there's like a lot of good spots, and like I had a lot of good chats with people up there. But talking about bad stereotypes, Jesus Christ, just like you ever been to like you go to the pubs here and it's bad because there's just drunk people falling out, you know, left, right. But you go to and like there are people trying to get you in like their underwear up there, and just like people trying to fight you up there, and it's just like that is just. I remember someone having a go. I was like, "Oh, you're from Melbourne. You're cultured," and it was a real slur, and I was like, "That is like that's FNQ for you, isn't it?" Slurring fucking Queensland, like it's true.
You guys are smart, aren't you?
Oh yeah, you like that, huh? Your fucking education.
That's it. We don't take kindly to folk like you. Which country would you say is most similar to Australia?
New Zealand, surely. Yeah. Well, yeah. So culturally, I think we're kind of a hybrid between America and Britain, surely. But yeah, I think we started off as a British colony, but like, which is why I think everyone's got roots with British sort of language and stuff. But I think in the last 50 years, you can definitely see the American sort of influences that have had on us. Yeah. Anywhere else?
What activities and hobbies are known for Australians? What's the stereotypical
stereotype?
Stuff that we do?
Yeah, barbecues, I'd say. Throw in a shrimp on the barbie. I couldn't even tell you what is a shrimp. It's a prawn, isn't it?
That's what we call them. Like, but I think the shrimps are smaller.
Yeah, you know, like what's that about? But so that's the stereotype. I think the beach is another one. What was the question?
What are the stereotypical hobbies and activities of Australians?
Yeah, hobbies. Surfing. I've never surfed in my life. Too uncoordinated, you know. Drinking a hobby. That'd be accurate if it was. Yes, yeah. I think surfing. I think people. Oh, you ever surfed? It's like, no. Avoid the sun. You know what the melanoma rates here in Australia? Ain't taking my shirt off his shit.
And what does it mean to be an Australian to you? It's where the questions get deeper.
Yeah, no, it's an existential question, man. I think no worries. I think that's like, I think we are like a relaxed sort of people. I think, yeah, no worries. It's a very Australian expression, but it's also an Australian. It's an ethos, Pete. It's an ethos. You know, you don't just say it, you live it. Yeah, it's deep, isn't it? I think Plato said it first, and then we adopted it.
He said, "No worries."
He said, "No worries, mate." I think could have been Socrates. Either, so.
Socrates.
Yeah.
If you could change one thing about Australia, what would it be?
I don't know. I think we're getting there everywhere. Like, I think like the struggle is important. You know, like if you could write down like the Constitution of America was like a really, really good idea at the time, but I think they've been living off it like a long sort of time. You know, like it should have changed. You know, like I think at the time they said it was like, oh, we should update the Constitution every 20 years, and they were like, no, it's really good now. I think I'm getting away from it, but I think that's what they should have done, and I think that's what Australia. If you could change something about Australia, I think it would be less important just to. Or the media, actually. Just going to give a long-winded answer about like the importance to like. But I think.
So why the media?
Well, I think. 80% of it comes from like one or two sources, right? And I think the way that we look at the media, I think we say no worries, you know, that sort of stuff, but like we also swallow it. So we're less likely to fight stuff. So then when we see stuff in, you know, the Herald Sun or the Daily Telegraph or the Australian, which are all owned by one person, because we're so relaxed, we're less likely to argue against it or see the inherent bad side of it. So, yeah, I think that no worries sort of it's the best part of our society, that we're relaxed, but it's also the worst part of our society is that we're a bit relaxed about stuff that we should be angry about, we should be fighting against. Yeah. That makes sense about the American thing, you know, like we should be struggling, you know, we should be constantly having conversations about how we can do better, you know.
And that's, I think that's just a world thing, isn't it? Like
yeah. But I think with Australia, we never really, with the United States, they've got like, the Constitution's perfect. It's like, it's not perfect, man. It's a living, breathing thing, you know. It's like, the culture changes, you know, like what was right then isn't necessarily, you know, they had slavery back then, you know, like, and that's...
the gun law stuff, it's like they didn't really have, like, you know...
That was like, people always...
automatic machine guns that can fire off 100 rounds a minute.
And that's the worst thing, is, like, people always argue that, like, it shouldn't have been done at the time. It's like, at the time, it was perfect, you know, like, I mean, it was,
people had they had to self-load, you know, rifles and stuff with mumble all the time.
It really was, like, a perfect, you know, weapon against tyranny, you know, it was like when you had 200 armed, you know, or, like, you know, 200,000, you know, an army that size, you know, then you only need to raise that many people as civilians, you know, whereas now it's like, what are you going to do against a goddamn fucking tank, you know, like, I don't care how many M6, you know, assault rifles you have, you know, like, you ain't going to take a tank. But that's, we're getting off topic, but, that's, it's a constant conversation about, like, where your country's heading, and I think that's, it's not just, if I could be a tyrant and change anything, it would be less important than winning people over, wouldn't it? You know? So I think that's... you got to take the people with you.
Yeah. And do you think racism's a problem here in Australia?
Oh, fucking oath, eh? Fucking A. But it's... yeah, I mean, it is everywhere, but I think... and I think it goes back to that no worries sort of thing. I think everyone's sort of, oh, you know, why do you have to change it and sort of stuff? Why do you have to? I'm getting along all right. You know, why can't they get along? And it's like, well, you know, like everyone's different. Like, you know, we've had, you know, how many prime ministers? You know, 30 odd, 25, something like that, and they've all been white. You know, like it's like the women thing. You know, like it's whenever you get more women into parliament, even if they're shit women. You know, the women, the lives of women in that country usually do better. I think this is poorly thought out, but like I think I've read it in The Economist or something. It said like it's the same thing with racism. You know, like if you get a black sort of people into parliament, and then the rights of black people in that country are going to do better. And the fact that we've had 30 out of 30 of the prime ministers have been white, you know, they're going to make, you know, laws from their experiences, and because they're all white, they have white experiences. So, but like, it's the denial that kind of shits me. It's not the, well, let's do this. It's like, it's the denial that
there's a problem.
Yeah, I mean, like when and that's not just like, oh, black people are doing badly, but it's like, that's racism. I mean, when Holden left our country, like, I think it was like, there was like 10,000 jobs or something. They all got like, packages to retrain. They got like, the government intervened and like made sure that they had, pay packets, so their families weren't going to struggle. And I think, what does it work out to be? I can pull a number out your bum, like $20,000 per person, to give them money. But Aboriginal people don't have, when you look at Aboriginals and, Asian, that sort of stuff, maybe not Asians, I don't know, yeah, but all of a sudden it becomes their problem. Like Holden, it's like, oh, they're our problems. You're part of the, I can't believe they're doing this. No one would ever say, that's... Yeah, it's like, oh, they put it, an argument that could be made, it would be a stupid argument, but, like, you could make an argument that, like, oh, they should have known, they should have, like, worked harder, the only people that, biggest problem of Holden workers is that Holden workers themselves. As if you'd ever say that, not in a million years. But, like, Aboriginal people, like, for 200 years, they had their kids taken off them all the way up to, like, the 70s. And, like, all of a sudden, the biggest problem Aboriginals people face is the Aboriginals themselves. Like, that's just... How can you argue that that's possibly true?
Well, yeah, that's it. I guess they were doing fine until we came, so it obviously wasn't them that was the problem.
Man.
I mean...
And then, like, when you give them some autonomy and sort of stuff, like, they do much better. You put them in a Western sort of school, and, like, they don't do that well. And it's like, but that's not the problem.
That's what shits me, though, too, because it's like we kind of try and treat everyone like a square peg,
a
square hole,
absolutely.
Where it's kind of like, a lot of these Aboriginal kids... They don't want to go to school, they don't want to learn the stuff at school. The stuff they're going to learn at school isn't applicable to what they're going to end up doing with their lives.
Western history?
Yeah.
Jesus.
So it's kind of... That's what frustrates me as well about the feminism movement at the moment. This is getting off topic, but it's just like, we need more women in these things, but if they don't inherently want to be there, shoring up the numbers and making them and, falsely doing it, it's kind of like, you're not solving the problem. It's just... It's a band-aid on a, putting your finger in the dike kind of thing. It's not actually solving the problem, it's just making it worse. And that's what, the Aboriginal thing, it's like, you can't just white them, you can't just give them everything that you give the average white person in Melbourne and expect, well, now they're equals.
Yeah.
It's kind of like, they just have different interests, different needs, different, aspirations.
And give them Centrelink and just, like, whinge that,
They spend it on booze.
Yeah, well,
it's like, they're still in their towns with nothing to do, with no jobs. Like, what did you fucking think they were going to spend their money on?
But we'll just treat them the same as if they're in Melbourne, and then whinge about them when it doesn't work.
Anyway, anything else to add? Have I missed any other questions that you could think of that I should ask about Australian shit?
I think I got to swear as much as possible. I think I got to say frothies. That was good.
What is an Australian slang term that Australians don't say but is a stereotype, that if you can think of one?
Yeah, throw a shrimp on the barbie is probably one, because I don't know what the hell a shrimp is.
Well, it's funny you say that, because I looked up where that came from, and it's Paul Hogan in that ad in the 80s,
US,
I think 84 after Crocodile Dundee, and it was made for the people in the US, so that's why they said shrimp and everything. And it's so funny because in the ad he lifts up a shrimp or a prawn that's already been cooked and then puts it on the barbie, so it's all these people commenting it like, this guy's a fucking retard.
he was the original Lara Bingle, which is Where the Bloody Hell Are You? Yeah. No, actually, you know what one is a good Australian as well? Yeah, nah. I didn't realise that was an Australian thing, but people tell me it is. And the nah, yeah.
Yeah. It's the last one, right? That's the answer you're after.
Yeah, nah, I don't know, eh? Yeah. I don't know what that is. But yeah.
It's ignore the first chunk. The one that they end on, that's the one that you need to take away.
I usually don't even listen. I just because it's like, yeah, nah, yeah. It's like, because that's the same as yeah, nah.
You can't make up your mind.
It's the inflection, I think you got to listen to the tone.
I also notice myself holding out vowel sounds every now and then with words to use, sort of like there is a lot of people in Australia, I don't know if that's an Australian thing, but I notice myself doing that every now and then, where you'd be like, yeah.
Yeah, I don't know, eh?
Well, there's heaps,
mate. Heaps, mate. Yeah, that is a shame, isn't it?
Alright, cool. Quits there then. Yeah,